Great. Welcome in, everyone. I appreciate you. I know there is noise in the background. Those apologies for all who, if it interrupts the microphone. And this is about a 15-minute talk, so be sure 15 to 20-minute talk. So be sure to share it out if you want anyone to participate. Be sure to share the live. Forgive the garden work in the background and all the equipment outside that's just living, and we do not need to not live in the process of stopping to share, do what you do in digital spaces. I encourage you to do more, especially with today's topic that we're going to talk about today. I encourage you to do more outside of digital spaces than on digital spaces. As you see all the time, I take those mental health breaks, and I hope that that's beneficial for you all. But I also like to leave a lot of work when I'm on my breaks, right? So that's why I record the podcast. I'll get some writing in, I'll record the podcast, I'll throw in some shorts, I'll throw in reels, TikToks, do everything that I can on digital spaces to make sure that there's enough content for you to go through. And then when I'm gone away on a digital break, then you still have something if you came and you needed something, right? And that's just the importance of not abandoning the brand, so to speak, right? But so yeah, so you'll hear that, and that going on outside. I'm also going to make some coffee and a host of other things. So I apologize for any noise. Okay. Make sure you share the live. This is going to be a short conversation. If you want to contribute anything, you know how to tap on the microphone. The links are in the bio. Follow my YouTube. Sometimes some videos are not allowed. As you can see, I'll post and tell you that on the timeline. If they don't allow me to say something, I'll take the video down and then I'll post it on YouTube where there's a lot more freedom, so to speak. And you can get the whole video on YouTube. So YouTube link in bio, subscribe so you don't miss anything. Tomorrow I have comedian LJ, and we are going to have a detailed discussion about his life and his career. And I hope that you guys will tune into that live on YouTube. Okay. Also, I'll probably tap in. I probably will tap in here during the interview just so that you guys can take a listen and learn more and follow the comedian and all those kind of great things, right? Link in bio to the books. We'll talk about the books. We're already wrapping up with the decision for book 10 in 2026. So staying really busy, making sure that I give you all as much content as I can, because that's what we are called to do. When God calls you to do something, you do it, and then if people like it, they like it. They hate it, they leave. Right? All right. So here we are, Latonya. As soon as I saw the news yesterday, I remembered the episode. I remembered Latonya. I remembered Dr. Now. And not too long ago, maybe about a year ago on my Instagram, I actually used the sound from a moment between Latonya and Dr. Now that just was legendary. And he said it to her twice on the show. And I used one of those moments when they were going through to share my journey, right? To talk about my journey. And I don't want to ever put myself in a space, because that has offended before. To put myself in a space as if I understand what it means to be 300 plus pounds or anything like that. I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying that, because that's your journey. That's a different journey. And I know I've just watched this show for forever. I don't know who's more obsessed with this show, Ricky Smiley or me. Okay. So I just absolutely love this show. So it's kind of like personal, like, oh, I know her, like it feels like family, to see a loss like this and to know her story, because that's what the whole show does, is tells the story. And then to know that all those unresolved things is stuck around. It's heartbreaking. It's definitely heartbreaking for anybody that may know her or that you're her personal family. My condolences go out to you. Rest in peace, Latonya. I can only imagine some of the details that are coming out as Entertainment Tonight and different sources verified what happened. And I can only imagine, yet I can relate, to the emergency system not being all that you desire it to be. Sometimes when you want the ambulance to come and quickly get your person over, and sometimes the decision to call is too late. That's happened 3 times in my family. So sometimes the decision to call and get help is too late for an elder or a family member, and then the worst case scenario has happened, although unrelated, but twice strokes and once heart attack has happened to the demise in my family. So I can relate to that whole struggle with the with what they are saying happened, just in regard to getting her from the home in the ambulance to the facility for care, right? So we know her story, so we'll talk about her story. All the details of how the ending are kind of unclear, but and I think that's even still under investigation. So we won't unpack too much of that because a lot of that will be speculation, right? But what we will say is this: I remember Latonya when she first came on the 600-pound life show with Dr. Now, and at the time that Latonya first came on the show, Latonya was like in her she was about 400 something pounds, and as same as her second time on the show, she had people that enabled, so to speak, when from our judgmental position, sitting on the couch watching the show, and it's like, oh, that's enablement, that's encouragement. Even I, on my journey, and I told you guys, 15 plus years of being in a plus size body, something I had never experienced in a lifetime. And when I lost my husband, I gained weight. I had school, I was in college, and then I had my grief going on, and then I'm raising my children, and then the graduations, and they grow up, and then grandbabies and marriages and weddings. So all that definitely took a toll on my life. So 15 plus years of weight gain, I know what it's like to have people around that may not be being self-conscious about how we're eating. And then once you get on that real strict road, then I know the resistance that happens in the culture. I know the shame that happens in the culture. And some people say, shame? Why? Well, why in the world would there be shame? You're on a healthy journey. Everyone should be celebrating that. Child, be BLK for one day. Be BLK for one day. Y'all couldn't handle it. Y'all would run. Your little sweet potato loving self. I love those sweet potatoes too now, right? So your little sweet potato, pumpkin eating, asparagus eating, fish because it's a better choice eating, tuna, and that's it, and you're ready to go for the day eating self. Girl, they'll run you out the barbecue. Do you understand? They will talk bad about you. She thinks she cute. She just want to get everybody attention. Girl, she's so extra. She bougie. She act like she too good to eat meat. She rude. She won't eat that big plate of soul food. You have no idea the things that are said when you are in the BLK community and you decide all of a sudden that this isn't for you and you have to get on a healthy journey, right? So, man, Nas, the episodes. I remember an episode watching someone prepare breakfast for Latonya. And on that episode, it was the start of the episode, and she was starting breakfast, and she was sitting in her bed. She's at this point, this is the second time being on the show, and she's at the 600-pound 600 plus pounds at that time, right? And the person, the enabler, that's what I like to talk about all the time, is the enabler, right? So the enabler who could stand in the position of support and put your boot on the ground. Like some people say boots on the ground, that's for something totally different. When you are in a position of someone being resistant, I am the family member that everyone calls, okay? Because I really love you with being consistent with what I'm saying, right? And everything that I'm saying may not be comfortable for you, but because I can relate, or because I did the research, or because I'm talking to, sometimes it's a family member and I've had to sit down with your medical team, and I sat down with your heart doctor, I sat down with your kidney doctor, I went with you to dialysis, I met all of your medical team. When I do that, whenever people bring me in, my family, and they bring me into a family member that has care going on, I'm meeting with everyone. I have no medical degree, but my doctor, who is my daughter, who works in the medical field, and she's a nurse, she says they call me Dr. D, okay? Because I have spent decades learning everything that I can learn about what it takes to live our best lives, right? So I've done the research. I know heart doctors by name, right? Like I see them and can talk to them and they remember me, right? With my mother, right? I know kidney doctors, right? I've had to get to know a host of different doctors in being a caregiver position. And I know that sometimes I'll get overwhelmed and I'll get tired, and they understand that. But I also know that I fight. and I sometimes see people give up. And when I see people give up, then I'm fighting even harder, right? So I wish and pray that there is 1 to 10 of those in your family, so that when you're being resistant, what we saw that morning, right? So she's insisting on breakfast. And sometimes she was kind, and sometimes I thought, that's a little pushy. But when somebody's so big, they can't come over here and slap me. And especially when you want them to exercise, you'd be like, girl, come on over here and get me. I'm going to step about 50 feet, and you come on over here and go across my face because I won't feed you. But let me not teach you all the little tactics. That's not for everybody. Some of y'all might get out of control. But listen, I saw an episode, and the plates were laid out across the bed. And I'm just like, and Honey knows I get emotional and I want to cry every time. I think these people are my family or something, because I know I'm that family member that I go hard in the paint, right? So I'm getting really upset when I see people with this happen. And they put on the bed, and she's not getting out of the bed to go to the table, right? So if you have, the inability to do so by walking, it would be even helpful if you could just utilize the wheelchair or the walker or whatever they give you, just to go have that experience each meal at the table or at the bar or whatever, even if it's going to sit on the from the bedroom to the couch, to put a little table in front of you. If the doctor says, yes, I see everything, we've done the blood clot, we've done this, that, we've done everything kind of testing, and we see that this is possible for her to do, then you be there and you support and use kind tones and get your person to get up to eat, right? But they laid the food on the bed, and the food was, I was watching this episode with Honey, but I think the food was like 8 waffles, maybe 6 or 7 waffles. It was maybe the plate of eggs looked like it was the whole 18 count in the container. And then there was bacon, and it looked like 2 whole packs of bacon. And I thought, oh, okay, they're going to sit down all together on the bed and eat with her. It was for her. And then it was like a container of biscuits. All right, puppy, that was me. My bad. He's like, don't tap the counter, Mom. Right? So, Pop, I'm sorry. It happens. So anyway, and I thought, that's the enabler. You went in the kitchen to prepare all of that for one human being. How does your heart allow you to lay that out and watch the person eat that? Because they couldn't even get out the bed to go do it themselves. Right? So why would you do that? You're being an enabler when you do something like that, right? But there were moments that stood out to me, heartbreaking to see her go through the first whole thing with Dr. Now at the 400-pound to only return at 600 pounds, meaning that by the time you're the second time on the show, no lessons have been learned. You know, even though Dr. Now is extremely hilarious in delivery, I don't want to see the medical person doing that. Because, he would tell her, she would say, I'm hungry. And he's like, you're not hungry. You ate enough for the next 4 years. Well, Dr. Now that's not going to encourage her to take it off, is it now? Even though his mouth is just so super fly all the time. Um, yeah, he's cutting up. I'm sorry. So, but it's like, everyone has to be kind, firm. I mean, kind, insist, and consistent and firm when it comes to helping someone like this get on this journey, and just show compassion, ethnocentrism. Like you have to find everything within you to get in that person's shoes and imagine, like, what is it that you're going through. I know that what I'm telling you right now may not be for you. This may not feel good that I'm having to say this, but I know that this is going to be good for you, right? And so those hunger cravings, what was given to her for hunger cravings? Oh, I remember episodes. I don't eat that, when she made it to the hospital, right, for that emergency where she didn't feel good, and they got her to the hospital, and she's telling Dr. Now, he said, everyone else is in here bariatric, everyone else is in here eating this, the food that's provided. Why are you not eating it? And she points to the plate. I don't eat this, I don't eat that, I don't eat that. Who asked? I don't eat that, I don't eat that. Who asked you is a family term in my family, right? Who asked you? I didn't ask you if you eat that. I am saying this is what happened. When I talked to your doctor, this is what happened. I remember my cousin and I, we tend to be in the same position and with the family. And I remember she went to Auntie's house and she had took everything that is just, you shouldn't be eating this, and packed it all out from her grocery shopping. And she took the groceries with her, the best stuff. And I did that to my mom. And I'm telling you, my mom and my auntie were the only children under my grandmother growing up, and they are like twins, and we got in so much trouble. May they both rest in peace. We got in so much trouble taking all that food out. Do you know what it's like to upset a BLK mom by taking the food from her refrigerator after her grocery trip? But then she's upsetting me because you're going to the grocery store getting things that I know I told you your doctor said you can't have this, and then I have to fly all the way from Colorado to San Antonio, Texas, and I get in your cabinet and you still trying me in these kitchen streets, like, so going back and forth with my loving mother. May she forever rest in peace, right? So you just have to stand your ground. Prepare them things that kind of work with the hunger. I can't really give you no Addy on here, right? Because they are no longer letting us talk medical Addy. So I hope you know what that word means, and I can't even use the word anymore. But things that work for me is blueberries. I don't eat those. Who cares? Eat them anyway. Honey's found a creative way to put them in his pancakes. So if they like pancakes, then, get a good recipe and put it in the pancakes. Fresh blueberries, rinsed off. Because when they have those blueberries, especially in the morning, all those cravings that they think that they have, gone, right? So they could do blueberries and that will get them through the day. Throw on a power packer if this person has to sit down with 8 plates all the time. So a good one is a really good protein shake, right? I prefer plant-based, and I like to go plant-based without, what I do, but a plant-based protein shake, and then and a handful of blueberries, throw in a banana, strawberries, get in that water consistently, wait the 4 to 5 hours that the dietitian told you before you have your next meal, right? A lot of intermittent fasting is very helpful, and you can't do that oftentimes. Food noise is real, especially for someone like this. She probably experienced a tremendous overload of food noise. She did tell her story from her past about her mother. And father, seeing them split, her dad choosing her mom's best friend. I think her mom passed too, right? And dealing with the fact that dad is now with her mom's best friend prior to mom passing. Like, she had a lot. She had a lot going on. So I know that with that going on, without going to get the right proper care, she, at some point, food becomes the comfort, right? And then they were strategic by telling you that food and comfort could be in the same sentence. That is, classic classical conditioning of a large amount of people by saying comfort food. Stop playing with me in the streets. Bad food like that, comfort, that's just not even associate the both, right? Because the more you think of it like that, the more you might tap into the weakness of going and indulging in it, right? Also, what was I going to say about Latonya? Right. So just, food noise is real. So understanding things to put into the environment that assists with food noise, right? So, the therapy, the personal trainer that she had. She was not doing what she was supposed to do. The personal trainer could tell that she wasn't doing the routine. So once you have the personal trainer added to the team, you as her support team, you do the workouts with her, right? I remember back maybe early 2000s, I had a really good trainer, and we were all at the military base, had a really good trainer, and she was one, Martha, that was her name, and she was at Fort Hood at the time, and she was one who would work out with every client, and I would watch her go back and forth because sometimes I'm there super early, 2 people are there before me, then she would do my turn, and sometimes I would stay and do like whatever suggestion that she said after. She did the complete workout, which she added a run from the gym, where we would leave outside the gym and run all the way to the park, for those familiar with Fort Hood. And we would run to that Lake Road Park and then run all the way around the park and come back to the gym. That was a part of the training. And she would do it every time, every client, 5 to 6 clients a morning. So sometimes, even though you had your workout and you came home and saw your family member that you need to support needs their workout, get out there and do it again. You'll be all right, sis. Get out there and pick a ball. Do whatever. You will be okay. Do you know that the average celebrity, I know a really good friend of mine, he's a personal trainer to the stars, and his average client works out 6 times a day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, get that through your head. They go play tennis, they go play pickleball, they do a regular workout, they go strength train, they go on a run, they go on a walk. They're constantly in rotation of someone taking them on a workout. So your one little 30 minutes at the gym, bent over with the pants too far up your crack, girl, you got it in you. Go throw on some sweats that fit your behind and go out, work out with your friend or your family member and take care of your family, right? Because sometimes that food noise is in there and it's so loud they can't hear anything else but the comfort of the food because society subliminally taught them that. So it's a learned behavior that has to be unlearned. And it was intentional in a lot of environments. It was intentional AF. But do we really want me to get on that subject? Hold on. No, we don't want me to talk about that. A 600-pound life. You have to have a stopping point with weight gain. Um, we have to get better education into parenting. We have to get education for people, those who are in charge of young people, because by the age of 5, the behaviors, the ways, the thoughts, all of that is fully, it's not, it's developed. The personality is definitely about developing into who they're going to be. Not saying that they can't change, because oftentimes you're exposed to a different environment, and all the other things that you can learn along the way, do your own research, right? So they have a way of being. And I've seen parents 5 and under children eating horrible, like just indulging, encouraging greed, right? So if you don't get that under control by the time they're 5, I promise you, by the time you try to get through them 10s and 15 to 20, they have some really bad habits, right? So early in life is so much easier to change, right? So if you're sitting and you're in your 20s and this is, your thing, and you are over 200 pounds, I promise you, you need to get on a journey of caring. And this is no better a time to do it than to now, right? I think that they said Latonya was 40 when she passed away yesterday, right? All her life, like her story, right, on the show. So her whole life. When she was on 600-pound life, the first time she was 400 and maybe 38 pounds, I think. And then the second time she was on the show, she had made it to 600. When I heard the news last night, Entertainment Tonight said a number somewhere like around 700 pounds. I don't, it's heartbreaking to know that the process going through Dr. Now and everything didn't work for her. And to hear that, because we know the first time it didn't work, and she came back to the show second time, and now that third time, now we're hearing this news of, so the first number was 400s, and then she was in the 600s, and then we hear the news of her passing yesterday, and she's in the 700s. It's heartbreaking, right? It takes me into, like I said, learning everything about what you're supposed to be doing in this game. Stop playing with your health. The church, you're always searching. Some people always search for the church, and so they go sit in various temples, and when 2 or 3 are gathered together, that I get that. But you also have a church that you were equipped with at birth. It is your body. Your body is the first temple. Your mental is the first temple. If you get that in check, you can conquer so much more, right? And if you don't get that in check, you might as well not put on the church hat and the pretty dress and them ugly shoes for Sunday morning service. Because if you're not going to take care of your body, why are you going to get in queue for pastor? I'm just saying, or the deacons, or whoever you in there getting cute for. I'm just saying, like, you literally, your first worship is to get to a point where everything about who and what you do with your temple matters, right? And stop being so resistant to change. Both of those episodes, seeing her resist change. I don't eat that. Who asked you? Borrow my phrase. I use it all the time. Who asked you? I didn't ask you if you eat that. I am telling you, this is what I had to learn. My journey, my dietitian, my way, like just please learn it, right? I didn't know what my plus friends went through until I gained it myself. And when I got up to the 200s, I knew that that was too much for me. So when I see people 300 plus, I empathize with you. I love you. I can't imagine the life over 250. I don't ever want to know that life. Now that I'm almost at 199, I'm like, never again, never, ever, ever, right? So, but I understand through my therapy what caused me to go there, right? And the distractions and, sometimes access to ability to purchase anything whenever, sometimes that could be a bad thing too, right? Like, so when you have income coming in and you're just like, it's like, hey, I got it like that, why not, right? And then I had a lot of friends that always wanted to eat or to let's go cook or let's eat out. I had to eliminate people from my life who after church, let's go eat. Girl, when we get off work, let's go eat. Okay, after this, when we get for the weekend, oh, we got an extra week day off. We're gonna be off on Monday. Let's go do this. Eat, 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 eat. And everything was travel, eat, eat, eat. Travel, go here, eat. I had to get away from those kind of people. In order for my journey to work for me, I had to get away from everybody whose answer to do anything was eat. Because there's so many activities. Hiking in Colorado, nothing like it. My life completely changed, right? So there's so many things to do other than to go sit down at the restaurant and pig out, right? So you have to decide, because your environment, Joel Osteen, taking the words, not mine, your environment will change you before you can change it. Right. And before you know it, you just sitting there pigging out like, oh, I went to a friend's house and love her. And I used to go on the weekends. And breakfast was 2 fried pork chops per person, scrambled eggs, bacon, 4 pieces of sausage, 2 pieces of toast, and something else. I can't remember what the other item was, and orange juice and water. Oh, and a glass of punch. And it was all like sat out there for each person. And I just, first I looked at her mom like she's so tired. May she rest in peace. I could just tell she was so tired. Imagine doing that every day. And I was like, oh, this is how y'all do when guests come over. And she was like, girl, we eat like this every day. Um, Yes or no? So no, right? So just having to learn what's not for you, right? Because it's not okay. And sometimes you'll stay in those environments and it's good times. It's great conversation sitting around the table. Her dad was a pastor, just really good, great times. But it's, you got to learn. And that was when we were young and you could eat and go dance all night long, in those days in my 20s, no judgment for anyone that does it now, because I remember Austin, Texas, right? So in my 20s, we went out 6 nights a week. We get off at 5 o'clock. We do everything that we're going to do. We're in the club by 10. We get out the club at 2. We go to work at 8. We get off at 5 o'clock. We go back and do what we're going to do. We go to the club at 10. Another nightclub is popping on Tuesday and another one's popping on Wednesday. We were out dancing and moving so much we could take that kind of food in and not keep it on our bodies, right? But then when you stop partying, I'm not saying that the club is a good weight loss plan, but I'm saying when you stop partying 6 nights a week and you're no longer hanging out to 3, 4, 5 in the morning, oh my God, that can make you gain weight too. Isn't that crazy? The pastor gonna be like, wait a minute, she just told y'all to go hoe in them streets. I didn't, but I'm just saying that sometimes partying all night will keep that weight off. No, I'm joking. Okay, so enough of that. Don't go party all night. Have some morals. But awareness is what I got from hearing the news yesterday about Latonya is just, come on, y'all. How many times do subliminal messages in the universe keep putting this message of it's time to get real serious about your bodies? If the statue in New York offended you to the point where one lady wrote a whole letter and asked them to take the statue down because she said it was offending people, because of all the ridicule and things that went up for certain people, it went out to us because people put the statue and us together as one, right? When it offends you, change it. I surrounded by military people and they're like, you don't like that, change it. hmm my son is one of those more direct. You don't want this to happen? Go do this in the morning. Go walk. Go do this. Like, so you have to be around people that are real direct with you, to tell you, to not empathize with you and baby you through those stages. That stop playing. You need to get up and go on a walk. You need to get up and exercise. Every 45 minutes, you should be getting up doing something. One creative thing to do every 45 minutes in an 8-hour period is 10 squats. That's it. 10 squats. If you can't get anything else, 10 squats. But, I would love for you to wave your arms around. I would love for you to do, some next exercises. I would love for you to stretch and do everything, other things too. But if you can't get anything else done, 10 squats. Toe tapping on a chair, 100 of those in the morning, 100 of those in the evening. Whatever it takes, if you can't go out there and get your walk in, your run in, do whatever it takes to move. But you should not be sitting 8 hours straight. You should not sit 8 hours straight. You should not sit an hour straight. That's why exercise snacking every 45 minutes you will see the benefits over time. Right? Save you. And the reason why I say to save you is this, my loves. Save you because no one's coming. And I know that's a harsh thing. Every time we hear someone say something like that, we're like, wow, why do I say that? Because it's a lonely road on the way to the top of the best life for you. That's why. It's lonely and designed that way on purpose. When you're surrounded by people and a whole bunch of extraness and distracted by too much, and you're not taking spaces and mental breaks off of these digital platforms, and you're just on all day and never taking time for you, it's a distraction. It's a lonely road to get to your best self, because you have to go inside, you have to get still, you have to hear the plan, you have to write the vision down and trust that it's going to come to pass. You are going to have to get real still and real intentional about living. And no one's coming to save you to do that. Right? So sometimes you're going to have to change your environment. You're going to have to change the people around you. No one's coming to save you. You don't like all that extra on your neck. No one's coming to save you. You got to go do the work. Get to your doctor, get your blood labs, find out your allergies, finding out chicken is an allergy for certain cultures. I know for a fact that my family, it is an allergy, right? So but it has also been for decades the most popular food of choice, right? And for reasons of all kind of different reasons why it became the food of choice, right? But even once the family transitioned into money, people still were going for the chicken. So then it just became a resistance, right? Like, no, you're just insisting on chicken when there are other options, right? But chicken causes inflammation for some. Do your own research, go to your own doctor, go to your own dietitian, go to your own gut doctor. I have a regular doctor, I have a gut doctor, I have a dietitian, I have physical therapists. I have a host of people that walk me through this journey, right? And I also have a therapist, right? It's mental. Food noise is real, right? So even though 268 was the highest I ever saw in my lifetime, I know that as I get to 199, like I even know how much weight I'm going to lose because of the way that I eat in a calorie deficit now. I've been eating in a calorie deficit for 1 year. So I am about 4 weeks away from 199. Yay! What I'm saying? Like, I already know the weight loss that I'm going to do because 90 days plus creates new habits, right? So once you get into a new habit and you start lowering your macros, and then you can be real extra and intermittent fast and lower the macros on the list that the dietitian has even more, which is something that I did, hint, hint, for like 45 days. And you can even push yourself to those additional results, all while still giving your body all the nutrients that are needed. Your own journey. We're no longer allowed to tell you how to do it on this app. Today is May 20th. I would love to tell you so much more, but we are not allowed to do that or go into that kind of content anymore. So I would thank you so much for all who came back by. I appreciate seeing you guys again, Crypto. And if I didn't see you, Robin, Brent, I see so many different people. If I didn't mention you, I apologize. J Star, thank you for Can Do. Thank you for all those who always come back by. Frazier, Patient, like so many. I know you're going to come by. Don't forget that exclusive interview with LJ, the comedian. I have that tomorrow. That is going to be at 7 p.m. Central. It's going to be on my YouTube link in bio. Please make sure that you subscribe so that you can turn on that notification bell and not miss it. I will also turn this on so that you guys know that I'm over there and invite you to go over there and meet him. Thank you, Say, for coming by also. So you have to save you, okay? And I don't like to say it, but no one's coming to save you. Now, there are baby resources out there that you can reach out to, and they'll set you up with a good, brilliant plan. But how do you get to the plan? How do you get to therapy, right? How do you get to your doctor to do your blood labs? How do you get every decision that you make is you? That is why the gift that God gave us that everyone ignores all the time is free will. Free will. Save you. It was too late for Latonya yesterday. May she forever rest in peace. But God gave you today. So it's no longer late for you. You still have time, right? You have the free will to make a conscious decision to live. You remember AJ Johnson? Shout out to AJ Johnson. We know her best for being baby boy's mama. I remember seeing her story and what happened with her parents and everything that she went through and being their support system and seeing everything that happened to them transformed her life. So go watch her, read her story, look up her story. AJ Johnson transformed her life. That's why she is who she is. The trainer to the stars and a host of other lifestyle changes. Right, all because of understanding that in an attempt to save her parents, she understood that she had to save her. Right, and gives excellent tips. Jeanette is another one that's really excellent with tips, right? Dr. Berg is a good one to follow. I know people, I get away from political status of things. I think I can't even say that word anymore. The polytesil of things. um, um, but Dr. Berg, outside of everything that you think or don't like, he has an excellent channel, and he's now in every country. So you can go on YouTube, and he's in every country now. So Dr. Berg, whatever YouTube is allowed, Dr. Berg is there. So Dr. Berg, you'll learn something. You're going to learn a ton of things, and you're going to unlearn a ton of things. Do what you can. Find all the spaces and places that you can be in. Save you. There was a moment when Latonya, I said, I don't eat that. I don't like that food. I'm real hungry. And she was in her worst scenario. She was in critical condition, ICU. She had been in the hospital for 3 weeks. And Dr. Now says to her, what? She said, I'm hungry. He said, you're not. You've ate the food of 4 years. But honestly, as crass as that sounds, that's what all that extra is. You see all that cushion under her neck and on her shoulder and all, remember how her lower fupa and all that was hanging? That's what all that extra is because when you don't allow the intermittent fasting, cleansing, things that I can no longer talk about on here, I almost wanted to try it. This is May 20th. And I can't go into this whole transformation conversation anymore because they're not allowing it on the app. But anyway, that is stored in. That is from all the food. Okay. And it's a weird process. This is real scientific, and you have to go down that rabbit hole of finding out what that means. But yeah, you're not big bone because our bones are all the same. They are kind of shaped a little different so that some of us can have that little extra, wagon in the back. But we are definitely all operating within the similar skeletons, right? So you're not big boned. What's happening is you're not allowing that food to get out. So I can't say, I don't think I could use the D word anymore, but it's D and then T is in rhyme. The last part rhymes with ox or is ox. The last part is. So det ox, we'll say that. Okay. So go det ox and learn everything about det oxen. Okay. Because you have to get that out off of you. Right. And for many reasons, because it covers up something else that could be wrong. Your mammogram is going to not be truthful. So shout out to Joe Biden. Also, all prayers and everything for his journey that he's now on. But he did something last year where he changed everyone getting your annual mammogram, right? So he changed. And when we did our mammograms this year, you should have gotten your letters in the mail. So that's a new thing, and I hope that the new administration doesn't take that away. So you get a letter in the mail that tells you, hey, this was your mammogram, but we still saw a percentage of extra visceral. And it tells you if you have a lot of visceral going on. I know you thought you was born and you thought those were Dolly Parton, Pamela Anderson set of boobs, and it's not. Sometimes it actually could be that you have visceral going on. Just do your mammogram research, right? But they now give you a letter and tell you, hey, there's this percentage still on top and I can't really see. That's your encouragement to take that to your dietitian, take that to your doctor, who then says, okay, hey, we got to work harder on this visceral fat thing, right? And so start doing whatever they say is best for you, because all of our journeys are different, right? But that visceral, letting it stay there, because you're big bone, we thick, we fine, letting it stay there will change the trajectory of your life at certain periods. And you will start being subjected to having to live a totally different lifestyle than what you've known your whole life. Because here's the best way to look at it. What'd you eat yesterday? Got it in your mind? All right. Everything that you just had yesterday is going to show up on your body in 30 days. What'd you eat the day before? What'd you eat the day before that? Everything that you had those days is showing up in 30 days. So if you're eating everything the right way now, it's showing up in 30 days. You get it? So making a decision about you, God gifted you with the free will to make the right decisions, right? So when you make the right decision, it may not take away the pride, it may not be what you want, right? Just make sure that it's good for you, and make sure that it's supposed to be in you, and make sure it's going to do whatever it is that your goal is, and that it is not. Learn your allergies. There's so many locations around town in the big cities. If you could drive into the big city, if you don't live in one, there are so many locations now that do food allergy testing. So, and then like I just told you guys about learning your blood type. Do the research. The scientists come out. The A blood type has an allergy to chicken. What it does is it causes when you eat the chicken, it causes inflammation in the body, right? So you are doing better when you take on lamb and turkey and other choices, right? So learn how to eat those and enjoy them, and learn recipes for things that you are unfamiliar with. It's so fun to go and learn how to create and cook something new, right? So take that pride away. Stop saying no. I don't eat that, and all those negative phrases, right? Try to save you. I want you to try to exercise every 45 minutes. I want you in an 8-hour period to move, right? Do your work. Everybody at work has the little treadmills that slide underneath the desk in everyone's office. There's the mini steppers. You ding on there tripping over someone's mini stepper half the time. Like, take to work everything, whatever it is that you need. Do what you can to move, right? Taking that little ball to put your feet on and kind of do some little routines. You can sit on the ball. Sometimes, Denver, Colorado, they're a little extra and they bounce around the ball in the office because they have no home training. But that's fine too. Exercise every 45 minutes, whatever it takes, and walk around on your the block. Take a couple of blocks instead of sitting down for lunch. Or do eat your lunch, but go on a walk. It's so important that you do at least this. I'm going to give you a bare minimum. Every meal, 200 steps an hour later, 45 minutes to an hour later. 200 steps, however you can get them in after every time. So you decided to go get a snack and it was earlier than what you were supposed to have the snack. Go get those steps in. I hope that helps. But I just want you to try. I just want you to remember to try. I am going to put up a clip of this up, and I'll try to load the whole talk on YouTube. I know I promise that all the time, but it is a long process and I have to fit it in. And it's really hard to do, but all the talks will get loaded to YouTube. So eventually you'll see them all up there, right? podcast. Wherever you listen to podcasts, please do take a listen to the podcast. Um, Wherever you listen to podcasts, what D says, the podcast support that as well. I hope I said everything that I needed to say. Anything else that you guys think that you want to say? Really good. Hey, let's see, Crypto and Brent, you guys, I didn't see what you were talking about. Thank you so much for those likes and tabs. Anything else? What do you want the Latanyas to know? Give them something encouraging so that I can read that out and it'll be recorded. What do you want? What do you want the Latanyas to know? I want you to just remember to be supportive. Don't be judgmental. Be kind. Really be there for them. Do it with them. Examples are so important. They need to see you. I used to have a friend, and she didn't eat like that, right? But she could see that I was in my struggle, right? And she would come with, big bags of McDonald's. But she was, I think she was like 98 pounds when she was extremely soaking wet in the Gulf of America. Right. So it's like, girl, you don't eat like that. Stop playing with me. Right. And so, people like that playing in your face. Right. Like, be the example. Stop playing in a person's face. You see the food noises, their struggle, that wherever you suggest to go eat, that's where they're going because they want to hang out with you. They want that time with you, maybe. So stop saying things like KFC and Popeyes. And why would y'all want to make that a brunch date anyway? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many extra choices out there. So come on, be a better friend. Set an example. Be that person that cares about someone other than yourself. How hard is that? I have nothing more, you guys. Please follow the host. We're going to unpack some interesting Diddy trial time. Yeah, we're coming. I have to do that one probably around noon. I like 1 o'clock because, especially Central Time, because then there's been enough time to have something of complete detail and do my complete research to make sure that I'm quoting what was actually said and making sure I'm using all of the actual sources of those that are in the courtroom. I know yesterday the tea was that Gene Deal. He was spotted in so many different places around the courthouse. So that's huge. The question becomes, will bodyguard Gene Deal be coming to the stand? What are we looking at here? I'm sure Gene Deal has a lot to contribute. And how will the defense cross Gene Deal? Because he definitely, if he comes to testify from the things that he talks about all the time, we know that he'll testify for the prosecution. Or maybe he'll shock us. Maybe he'll say I was trolling and suddenly be there for the defense. But he was spotted at the courthouse. All right. So I hope this talk helped. Again, for the family of Latonya in Louisiana, our heart goes out to you. May she rest in peace. And hopefully, if I get some more information about how she passed yesterday, and I know that she was having difficulty. I think when the family report on Entertainment Tonight was that the family was there for the weekend, and then she was having some difficulty breathing and swallowing, so to speak, and that she was rushed to medical care and didn't make it. So may she rest in peace. And 600-pound life, if you have someone that's 200 plus pounds. Yes, I said 200. If you have someone in your family 200 plus pounds, care about them now. Do something now. Encourage them now. Unless that's for their build. Let me be careful because, the men, sometimes the men in my family are like, what, 2, 3, 4, and higher, so yeah, sometimes they're in those numbers, but you know what I mean. I'm talking about us 5'5". I'm 5'5", right? I have, friends that are 4'11". I'm talking about those people. So the 4'11s and the 5'5s, and you see them 200 plus, do the work, do the help, be that friend, be that person. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming by. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the likes, support, comments, and do follow the host. You have an opportunity now. I'm closing out. Make sure you follow the host. Thank you.